live here on YouTube because the new book I almost said Tasha's Hideous Laughter there. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything has been released, so I thought that I would jump on stream here and we would have a look through it. Probably not going to get through the whole thing because it is actually a pretty beefy book by the looks of things. I've got it on D&D Beyond. I don't actually have the physical book, but it looks like there's a lot of content in there, so I'm going to get through as much as I can today. We're just going to take the first look at it, or my first look at it, I should say. I don't really know much about what's actually in the book. I've seen a few videos and read a few things on Twitter and such about the book, but I've tried to steer clear until I actually see it myself, which is today. So we are going to jump straight in. I just need to change to that view. Here we go. Let me know if the music's too loud or if it's a bit weird. And you can see just from the contents here that there's quite a lot. So pretty much, well, every class has had some additional features being added and a few different subclasses as well. Actually, quite a lot of subclasses. There's a lot of content here. We're definitely not going to get through all of this today. I'm going to give it a good go. And then over here, there's the group patrons that I've seen a little bit about and some other bits. Magic tattoos, I'm quite looking forward to seeing them. There's some more magical items. And then sidekicks seems to be quite a talking point amongst people. And there's some other quite interesting stuff down here as well, like parlaying with monsters. I think some of this is just going to help newer DMs. So like session 0, I feel like I've got quite a handle on session 0, but I might learn something new. But it's definitely something good to to put in here for newer DMs who might not know what they're on about. And then there's also some puzzles down here with some puzzle handouts as well. So I'm quite looking forward to getting through it all. I am just very quickly going to chuck a message on Twitter letting people know that I have gone live. So let's just quickly do that. Come say hi. And then I think the first thing I want to look at is the magical tattoos. So they definitely are what I'm most excited about. I didn't realize there's going to be this much content for all of the class features. So I think we're going to start from chapter 2 onwards. See if we can get through chapter 2, 3, and 4 in this stream, and then we can go and start on chapter 1 if there's still time, but if not, we can do that tomorrow or another day. Okay, so first off, let's start with let's just go straight into chapter 2. Then, so group patrons. So, each adventuring group is bound together by the quests it embarks on and by the dangers that its members face. This chapter offers another way to bind your party together, a group patron. These patrons provide a strong binding element, an individual or an organisation that unites a party as a team in service for a greater purpose. Perfect. Okay, so let's see how a patron works first. So it's got a description for each patron that provides an overview. With the DM input, you can customize it to reflect specific establishments in your campaign. The guild group could represent the Harpers of the Zentarim from the Forgotten Realms, which we are familiar with. Having a group patron gives an adventuring group a common purpose, which is something that is important. I feel like a lot of new DMs try to chuck a group of mismatched people together without giving them that common purpose, which is why sometimes it doesn't work. They get perks and they're given assignments. So let's have a look at some of the example patrons. And so let's start with the Academy, which is right at the top here. Okay, so there's type of academies. So it's the semblance of scholars, truth seekers, passing on wisdom to the next generation. It's one of their goals. So let's see what it actually gets. So there's a few different academy types here. So there's a boarding school, arcane enclave. These are really good for if you're just starting up a new game and you're not quite sure how you're going to get all of the group together and stuff like that. These are some really good ideas. Nice bit of art there as well. Okay, so Academy perks. So, compensation. The Academy pays for the work you do on its behalf. The nature of your employment influences your compensation. On average, the Academy pays each member of your group 1 gold per day, or enough to sustain a modest lifestyle. Alternatively, you receive a bounty for each artifact or relevant discovery you bring back to your adventuring party. Okay, that's pretty nice. Nice and simple. Nothing too fancy with that one. Okay, so documentation. The Academy secures documentations such as access to forbidden regions. Okay, that's interesting. So rather than monetary value, you can get special statuses or access to different areas. Research. So you could be sent to do research. You're responsible for. Okay, so it doesn't say in each of them what you get as such. So this one said a bit about money. This said access to region. Let's see what some others say. So resources, host libraries, you can use them to further your work. Additionally, you can consult with the faculty of your academy. Okay, training. You pay half the normal cost for training. I don't use training much in my game, so probably wouldn't account to much. Academy contact. I'm guessing that just means you get a contact. Okay, and then there's a bit about the contact you could have. Okay, so here's some roles. Academy quests. Okay, so it gives you some quest lines here, which is good for some inspiration, especially if you're lacking. Okay, so it looks like these, rather than actually giving you much of a mechanical benefit, they're just more idea givers, I guess is the easier way to explain it. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we've got Academy, Ancient Being, Aristocrat, which, yeah, that's what you'd expect. Criminal Syndicate. Okay, so they're definitely good for thinking up ideas. If you're struggling a bit, you can come to this section, have a look through here, think up some ideas for the campaign as a whole, and just, yeah. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Let's see. Oh, okay, so there's not much about being your own patron. It looks like it just says use the running a business downtime activity in the Dungeons Master's Guide. Okay, so this bit's good for reference if you're looking for ideas and stuff like that, but there wasn't anything huge in there, I would say. So, but it's always nice to have. The more information you can have, the better. Okay, so let's go to magic now. We're going to have a look through. We're going to have a look through the magical spells now first. So let's go to the spells. Let's see how many there are. Okay, so there's quite a few by the looks of it, all the way from cantrips up to a 9th level spell. So let's go through, starting with the 9th level spell impact. So this is a bonus action, concentration. So you can create a blade-shaped planar rift. The blade lasts for duration. When the spell is cast, you can make up to 2 melee spell attacks with the blade. Each one against creature, loose object or structure within 5 foot of the blade. On a hit, the target takes 4d12 force damage. The attack scores a critical hit if the number is 18 or higher. That's pretty nice. That's something that wizards or spellcasters don't generally get access to. And on a critical hit, it deals an extra 8d12 force damage. So a total of 12d12 force damage. That is a lot. And as a bonus action on your turn, you can move the blade up to 30 feet. So it is like, oh, the blade can also go through a wall of force. Interesting. So it's like a spiritual blade, but extremely more powerful. Okay, Booming Blade. I'm pretty sure this was in another book, wasn't it? I can't remember what book. Maybe the Elemental one. So let's take a look. You brandish the weapon, melee spell attack, or just a melee attack even. On a hit, suffers the normal attack at Target willingly moves 5 foot or more before your turn. It takes 1d8 thunder damage. Okay. So it just, if it willingly moves, it takes damage. And then it's increased the more you get it. That is a cantrip. Dream of the Blue Veil. Sounds interesting. So it takes 10 minutes to cast and lasts for 6 hours. You and up to 8 creatures within range fall unconscious and experience visions of another world on the material plane, such as Eberron, Quinn, Torwal. If the spell reaches its full duration, the visions conclude with each of you encountering and pulling back a mysterious blue curtain. The spell then ends with you mentally and physically transported to the world that was in the visions. To cast a spell, you must have a magic item that originated from that world, you wish to reach, and you must be aware of the world's existence, even if you don't know the world's name, your destination to the world is safe. Blah 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 blah. Okay, this is interesting. So it's obviously well known that there are different worlds in Dungeons and Dragons, and our world technically could be in it. So, traveling to different worlds, they've actually just put it in a spell, which is pretty cool for those people who wanted to world hop. There's an concrete option here now, so the DM has to do a bit less work thinking of ways how the players can get from one to the other. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Green Flame Blade is another one that was in a different book. Can't remember which book, so it's just been cemented now in this book. In case you didn't have that other one, normal effects, and causes a green flame to leap to a different creature of your choice within 5 feet. So it's good if there's a group of them each within 5 feet. Intellect Fortress, 3rd level, 1 action, concentration up to an hour. For the duration that you or one willing creature you see in range has resistance to psychic damage, as well as advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma throws. Okay, nothing massive, but still very handy to have. Lightning Lure. So, this is another cantrip. I'm pretty sure this was in the book as well, actually. I recognise it. You create a lightning that strikes a creature within 15 foot who must make a strength saving throw or be pulled up to 10 feet in a straight line towards you and take some lightning damage. Pretty simple. Another cantrip, Mind Sliver. So I'm guessing this is going to just be, intelligence saving throw, or they take 1d6 psychic damage and subtract 1d4 from the next saving throw. So a nice little primer before you do, or before another member of the party does their big boy spell. Okay, so on to the S's. Spirit Shroud, 3rd level, concentration up to a minute, bonus action to cast. You call forth spirits of the dead even, which flit around you for the spell's duration. The spirits are intangible and invulnerable until any attack you make deals 1d8 extra when you hit a creature within 10 foot of you. This damage is radiant, necrotic, or cold, your choice, and the creature that takes this damage can't regain hit points until the next of your start turn. That's always a nice feature to have. In addition, any creature of your choice that you can see that starts your turn within 5 feet of you has its speed reduced by 10 until the start of your next turn. Okay, so that's interesting because you don't have to use an action, bonus action, anything like that. That's just something that works in addition to this extra damage. So that is pretty nice. Is it worth a 3rd level spell? Seeing as you could do Thunder Fireball with that. Maybe. It'd be good for sorcerers just purely because it's a bonus action. So maybe you could do a big boy spell and then use a bonus action to do this spell. Maybe. Okay, summon. So it looks like there's a lot of summons here. So I'm not going to go through the detail of every single one, but we'll see what the gist of it is. So 1 action, concentration up to an hour, quite a big range as well, 4th level. You call forth a aberrant spirit, which is this here. You can, when you cast spell, choose one of them. Slard. Very nice. The creature resembles an aberration of that kind, which determines certain traits in its stat block. Okay, so I see Saslard's have claws, Wraith for Beholderkin, and Psychic Sniper Starspawn. Nice that you get a little bit of variation, because I assume it would be a bit too much to actually give them a Slard. Let's have a quick little look. So it's got quite a low. I guess it's not a low armor class because it'd be 15 minimum. Okay, so small hit points. Still pretty good though. And some nice abilities here. So summoning's always been one of those things that some people really enjoy, but sometimes it can be the DM's nightmare because, especially if you just look on the left hand side, how many of these are turning up, you can imagine. And it's going to be interesting to see which classes spell lists these turn up on, because for example, if the ranger gets summon beast and then a warlock gets summon fiend, and then the wizard can do summon undead and the paladin can do summon celestial, then it's going to be a point where all 6 people in your party can summon something, and for a DM to have to manage that is hell, and it slows down the combat. So sometimes summoning isn't fun, but at the same time, if your players are happy to play on that, then that's fine. What's the how? Yeah, it's up to the players at the end of the day, and if they all want to play summoning type people and have their bestial spirits and their celestial spirits do work, then I guess why not? So, how do you rate this book compared to the others, Mr. Beginning? So, this is the second section of the book I'm reading, so I haven't got through much of it just yet. Looking just at the contents, though, it looks like it has a hell of a lot of content in it and a lot of options for people, for the players in particular, which is always good. I think options are always good because if you don't want the options, you can just ignore them. If you do want the options, then they're there. Right, so there's also Summon Celestial, where you get a celestial being, obviously. Summon Construct. So okay, so you just get to choose the material, and that changes things there. So summon Element, Summon Fae, and there's a few different options there as well. Summon Fiend, Summon Shadow Spawn. Interesting. Oh, okay, so they're like Shadowfell creatures, Fury, Despair, and Fear. Nice. Look at that. Looks terrible. And then summon an undead spirit. Okay, so yeah, as I said, it could be dangerous having them all in the game, but if your players use them, then it's up to them. If the combat slows down because of it, then it's them who have to suffer. So yeah, I'm fine with it. Okay, on to another cantrip then. You summon a circle of spectral blades. All creatures within 5 feet of you must do a dex save or take 1d6 force damage. Okay, quite nice. So it's like a semi-cantrip AoE-ish, AoE around you, which is always nice to have. Okay, so the first of Tasha's new spells. So we've already got Tasha's Hideous Laughter, but there's 3 more here. So we've got first level 1, which is 1 action, concentration up to a minute. So a stream of acid emanates from you in a 30-foot long, 5-foot wide direction that you choose. Each creature in the line must do a dex saving throw or be covered in acid for the spell's duration until a creature uses action to scrape or wash the acid off of itself. A creature covered in the acid takes 2d4 acid damage at the start of each of its turn. Okay, so that is similar to that fire spell that I forgot what it's called. Heat metal. Sort of. But much easier to get off of you. It's only level 1 though, so yeah, that's a nice one. I like the flavour of that as well. It seems like a very evil spell to have. Tasha's Mind Whip. Okay, so This is a second level spell, 1 action, duration 1 round. You psychically lash out to one creature you see in range. The target must make an intelligence saving throw, taking 3d6 psychic damage, and it can't take a reaction until the end of its next turn. Moreover, on its next turn, it must choose whether it gets a move, an action, or a bonus action when it gets one of the 3. On a successful save, the target takes half as much damage and suffers none of the other spell's effect. That's pretty nasty then. So if you fail that saving throw, you only get a move, action, or bonus action. You don't get multiple of them. So yeah, that is a very nasty spell, Tasha. Good job. Okay, so Tasha's last one, and the last new spell in this book is Tasha's Otherworldly Guise. So a 6th level spell, 1 bonus action, concentration up to 1 minute. Uttering an incantation that you draw on the magic of the lower planes or upper planes, your choice, to transform yourself. You gain the following benefits. So you're immune to fire and poison damage if you pick lower planes, or radiant and aquatic if you picked upper planes. You're immune to poison condition, lower planes, or charm condition, upper planes. Spectral wings appear on your back, giving you a fly speed. Very nice. +2 to AC, also nice. All your weapons attacks are magical, and when you make a weapon attack, you can use your spellcasting ability modifier instead of strength dexterity. So you can use intelligence, charisma, or wisdom. You can attack twice instead of once. When you take the attack action on your turn, you ignore this benefit if you already have a feature like extra attack that lets you make more than one attack when you take the attack action on your turn. Okay, so it's got quite a lot to it. I like the thematic side of it, where you actually change into something, which is very nice. So all in all, some quite good additions there. Some are just recycled from older books, but yeah, all in all, pretty nice. Okay, so personalizing spells. So this is interesting. I already do this in my games, or I'm happy to do it in my games. So you can't make one spell seem like another, like you can't make Magic Missile look like Fireball. For example, the Fireball with Thunderous Storms might erupt to look like burning clouds or bursts of red lightning without this affecting the damage type. Oh, okay. So that's not actually quite what I do. So for using the same example, in a Fireball, if there was a wizard that enjoyed storms and their whole thing was thunder and lightning, I would actually change the damage type from fire to lightning or thunder. Whereas they're saying that just changing what it looks like without actually changing the mechanics of the spell. I guess, once again, this is nice to be in there for new DMs that might not even know that that's an option. So yeah, it's fine. Right, let's have a look at the next section, which is magical items, which I'm pretty excited to have a look at these magical tattoos. Okay, so there's quite a lot of new magic items, in fact. Yeah, quite a lot. Some artifacts as well in here. Oh, Baba Yaga on there. Very nice. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, so the tattoos are in here as well. That's why it looks like quite a lot. There's some tattoos. Okay, so let's first look about magic tattoos. So, blending magic and artistry, you can have magic tattoos. Okay, so are all of the... Yes, okay, so all of the magic items are together, so I'm not just going to be able to go through just the tattoos, so we're just going to go through all of the magic items then. Okay, so absorbing tattoo. So to attune to this item, you need the needle to your skin where you want a tattoo to appear. Pressing the needle here throughout the attunement process. When the attunement is complete, the needle turns into the ink that becomes the tattoo, which appears on the skin. If your attunement to the tattoo ends, the tattoo finishes, and the needle reappears in your space. Ah, interesting. Okay, so they actually take an attunement spot, even though that they're a tattoo. Little bit strange, but I guess there was a lot of balancing conversations that happened here. And they realized that they couldn't give away some of these without having it attunement as well. So they've added in this little bit here. Okay, so damage resistance. While the tattoo is on your skin, you have resistance to the type of damage associated with a color. And it lists them all out here. When you take damage from the chosen type, you can use your reaction to gain immunity against that instance of the damage, and you would gain a number of hit points equal to half the damage you would have taken. Once this reaction is used, it can't be used again for the next turn. So that's a very nice ability. This was a very rare magic item, so it should be quite powerful. And I like tattoos. Not in real life, I have no tattoos, but well, I like them, but I just don't have any. So, but yeah, in D&D, I think they're very nice. Okay, so the Alchemical compendium is a rare item. So, when found, the book contains the following spells. There's a few there. It functions as a spell book for you. While you're holding the book, you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. It has 3 charges. Gain some at dawn. So you can expend the charges in the following way. If you spend 1 minute studying the book, you can expend 1 charge to replace one of your prepared wizard spells with a different spell in the book. The new spell must be of the transmutation school. Okay, very nice. So at any point, or 3 times a day, you can swap out a spell, which is nice because sometimes you just pick the wrong spell. As an action, you can touch a non-magical object that isn't being worn or carry and spend a number of charges to transform the target into another object. For 1 charge, the object can be no larger than 1 foot. Okay, so it's all about transmutation, so basically you get to change one thing to another. Oh, nice. Okay, so the all-purpose tool has some variations, as you can see out here. The simple screwdriver can transform into a variety of tools. You can touch and transform into any artisan tool of your choice. Quite nice. Whatever form it takes, you're proficient with. By holding this tool, you gain a bonus to the spell attack rolls and saving throws of your artificer spells. The bonus is determined by the tool's rarity. As an action, you can focus on the tool to channel your creative forces. Choose a cantrip that you don't know from any class list for 8 hours. You can cast that cantrip and it counts as an artificer cantrip for you. Very nice. So you can take a cantrip from any class, which is always quite nice. That could also, so that even though you're an artificer, you can get access to cleric cantrips as well. So you could have guidance, which is quite nice. Okay, so Amulet of the Devout also has some different variations, uncommon, rare, and very rare, and requires achievement from cleric or paladin. So bears the resemblance of a deity. While you wear the holy sister, you gain a bonus to spell attack rolls and saving throws. While you wear this amulet, you can use your divine feature without expending one of its uses. Once this property is used, can't have it till next dawn. So basically, you get another channel divinity in your day. Arcane Grimoire. So once again, same but with a wizard. So I'm guessing you just get that bonus to your wizard DC and spell attack rolls. And you can use this book as a spell book. In addition, when you use the Arcane Recovery feature, you can increase the number of spell slots you are going by 1. I'm seeing a... Okay, so I'm guessing each class basically got some variation of these items that we'll see throughout. So this one is rare, requires attunement by a sorcerer only. This crystal is solidified shard of the astral plane. As an action, you can attach the shard to a tiny object or detach it. It falls off if your attunement is ended. When you use a meta magic option on a spell while you're holding or wearing the shard immediately after casting the spell, you can teleport to an unoccupied space within 30 feet. So you basically get Misty Step when you use a meta magic option. It's quite nice because I do find that sorcerers don't really use the meta magic options as much. They're usually used to get spell slots back or just forgotten about, so that's quite nice. Okay, so this is attuned by a wizard. So as a bonus action, you can unfold it into a sphere or back into a disc. When found, it contains the following spells. It functions as a spell book. So it has 3 charges, regains 1d3 charges at dawn. If you spend 1 minute studying the archive, you can expend 1 charge to. Okay, so it's very similar to the other one. It's just all around divination. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume, yep, so this is the same. So it's pretty much the same. You get these spells, it works as a spell book, you get some charges. You can change one of your prepared spells into a spell that is to do with the school of that book. And then it gives you a little extra bit as well. So this one, you can use your reaction to force a creature to roll a d4 and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty of the original. And this one, you can teleport 10 feet. So I assume there's going to be some others for the other school of magics as well. We're only going into B, so that was just A. So there's quite a lot of A's there. So this is the first artifact. So Baba Yaga. Among the implements of Asman, Baba Yaga's mortar and pestle. These signature tools of Baba Yaga are a single artifact for the purpose of attunement. Should the 2 objects become separated, the pestle appears next to mortar next door. Properties of the mortar. The mortar is a tiny wood spoon, however, increases properties of pestle. Okay, so the pestle is a quarterstaff that gives +3 attack damage rolls. The pestle has 12 charges when hit with a melee attack. Using the pestle, you can expend up to 3 charges to deal an additional 1d8. Okay, so you can do more damage. Instantly fills with the desired amount of that material. Okay, so you can get the pestle to so any non-magical plant, mineral, or fluid that is worth 10 gold or less. Okay, interesting. Commander was described. I'm just reading this because there's quite a lot here and it's quite confusing. For the next minute, I'll tell you. The pestle moves on its own, grinding the contents of the mortar into a mash of fine powder. At the start of each of your turns, whatever is in the mortar takes. Oh, okay, so you can put stuff in the mortar. It takes quite a lot of damage. If it's reduced to 0, it is reduced to a powder, pulp, or paste. Only magic items are unaffected. Okay, so it just grinds whatever's in it. Fair enough. There's nothing that's completely mental about this legendary item so far. Okay, so it can travel to a specific place or creature. It's within 1,000 miles of you. Okay, so it's like a weird car, just like in this picture here. Oh, okay, so you can go to a different world as well. Okay, so you can travel between planes and worlds, and you arrive within a minute. So there's nothing for a artifact. There was nothing crazy there when you compare it to like the Eye of Vecna or the Book of Good Deeds and stuff like that. You obviously would get your 2 minor, 1 major, 1 minor properties here. But yeah, nothing massive. Let's have a look at the barrier tattoo now. So the achievement is the exact same as the other tattoo. While you aren't wearing armor, the tattoo grants you an armor class depending on the tattoo's rarity, which are down here. Okay, so that could be quite good for monks and barbarians. And barbarians are known for their tattoos, so I can imagine this being picked up by quite a few barbarians, getting a little bit of more armor class. Bell branch, the silver implemented branch has 3 charges. Presence of aberration. Okay, so you can expend 1 charge to detect the presence of aberration, celestials, constructs, elements, fae, fiends, or undead within 60 feet of you. Okay, and you can get protection from evil and good. Quite basic, but nice. Blood Fury Tattoo. So it has 10 charges, this one. While this tattoo is on your skin, you gain the following benefits. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend it to do 4d6 necrotic damage, quite a lot, and you gain a number of hit points equal to the necrotic damage dealt. That is very nice. When a creature you see damages you, you can expend a charge and use your reaction to make a melee attack against that creature with advantage on the roll. So 10 is quite a lot when those two features are both very nice and they only expend one charge. So yeah, that is a very nice tattoo. It is a legendary in status, so it should be. But yeah, very nice. Okay, so Blood Well Vial. So this looks like it's yeah, so it's required by a sorcerer. It's similar to the ones we looked at before. So you get either +1, +2, or +3 to your bonus attack rolls and saving throws. But in addition, when you roll any hit dice to recover hit points while you are carrying the vial, you can regain 5 sorcery points. That's quite nice. This property of the vial can't be used again till the next dawn. So that's quite nice because of what I said earlier about the sorcerer, that a lot of people forget about their sorcery points, or they just use them to get spell slots back rather than actually using them for the fun stuff. Okay, so we got a Cauldron of Rebirth. Let's have a look at what this is. So it can be used as a spell focus. Interesting. For your druid spells, and it functions as a so it could be achieved by druid or warlock, but it can only be used as a focus for your druid spells, not your warlock spells. That's quite interesting, and it functions as a suitable component for scrying. So scrying, you would usually have to get a crystal ball or a mirror or something like that that's worth 500 gold or something like that. So this would fit in that place. When you finish a long rest, you can use the Cauldron to create a potion of greater healing. That's quite nice. There's not a great deal of information about how potions are made. So this is one way that you can have it made by using the Cauldron of Rebirth. As an action, you can cause the Cauldron to grow large enough for a medium creature to crouch within it. You can then revert it back to its normal size with an action, harmlessly shunting anything inside to the nearest unoccupied space. If you place the corpse of a humanoid into the cauldron and cover the corpse with 200 pounds of salt for at least 8 hours, the salt is consumed and the creature returns to life at next dawn. Interesting. So this could be quite a good magic item to give to someone that doesn't have any sort of raising the dead style. If your party doesn't have a raising the dead style ability, as like a little backup, they can have this cauldron. Very nice. I like the feel of the cauldron. Let's have a look at another tattoo. So the attunement is the exact same as the other ones. While this tattoo is on your skin, you can, as an action, cause a tattoo to extrude into inky tendrils, which will reach out to a creature within 15 feet of you, which must make a DC 14 strength saving throw or take 3d6 force damage if be grappled by you. As an action, the creature can escape the grapple by succeeding on a DC 14 strength or dexterity check. The grapple also ends if you halt it. If the creature is ever more than 50 feet away from you, or if you use this tattoo on a different creature. Okay, very nice. So a fair amount of damage, and it's grappled. It's only an uncommon tattoo, this one, so I feel like that is about the right level of damage. And grappling someone is always nice, especially if they're trying to get away. Okay, so this is the second artifact, the Crook of Rao. I don't know how you say that. Rao. Okay, so let's have a look. So there's a nice little picture here, very celestial looking. So while you're holding it, you can expend one or more of its charges to cause any of these. All very nice spells, especially Mass Cure Wounds. Absolute Banishment. While you're tuned to the Crook, you can spend 10 minutes to banish all but the mightiest fiends within 1 mile of you. Any fiend with a challenge rating of 19 or higher are unaffected. Each banished fiend is sent back to the home plane and can't return to the plane the Crook banished it from for 100 years. That is pretty impressive. So any fiend challenge rating 19 or challenge rating 18 or lower within a mile is banished for 100 years. That's a long time, that is a big range, and there's not many fiends that are going to be higher than that challenge rating. So, how many times can you do this? Well, you can just do it as many as you want for 10 minutes. So, there's no reason, if you've got this, to just like go around the city of Waterdeep and just in mile radiuses and just banish all of the fiends in the area, and then essentially end up with a city that definitely doesn't have any Rakshasas, doesn't have any uh, succubuses, doesn't have any hidden devils in it. Interesting. And that's not it. So whenever the Crook uses the banish property, or when its last choice is expended, you have to roll on the table any creatures conjured as a result of this effect. Oh, okay, so there's the backlash. I should have continued to read. So if you use the banish property, it could cause one of these to happen. Well, it does cause one of these to happen. And they're all pretty bad. Some were not as bad, so 2d4 imps. If you're banishing, a couple of Rakshasas and some barbed devils and stuff like that, isn't too bad, but you could accidentally get a Balor or a Pit Fiend and Igwilf's Curse that we're going to read now. So, over the years, the curse has spread, within the Crook threatening to violently avert its ancient magic. If this occurs, the Crook avert, as it is currently known, is destroyed, its magical matrix inverting and exploding into a 50-foot diameter portal. This portal acts as a permanent gate spell cast by Igwilf. The gate then, once per round on initiative, count 20, audibly speaks a fiend's name, doing so until the gate calls on every fiend ever banished by Crook. Okay, so that, pretty bad. So if you had gone around and banished a load of things and then you roll a 91 to a 0, everything comes back through a portal right next to you. Okay, I'll take it back. It's not overpowered. Very risky, but fun. Definitely something that I would put in one of my games for a bit of fun. Then the players have to try to weigh up the benefit for the negatives. Cool. So Crystalline Chronicle. Very rare. So when found, the crystal contains the following spells. While holding the crystal, you can use it as a wizard's spell. And a couple cantrips. You can spend 1 minute. So you get 3 charges, and you can expend them to expend one of your prepared for a different spell in the book. When you cast a spell, you can expend 1 charge to cast a spell without verbal, somatic, or material components of up to 100 GP value. Okay, so you could use this to be a bit of a stealth wizard. You could cast without having to make a noise. That's quite nice. Okay, so we're going on to the D's now. So there are a lot of magical items here, but we will get through them all. Okay, so the Demonomicon of Igwilf. So let's skip past the book charges, has 3 charges, and you get some cool, not so friendly spells there. So you can reference the Demonomicon and you make an intelligence check to discern information about demons, or a wisdom check related to the abyss. Okay, very nice. Give your characters more information. Your magic causes pain to fiends while carrying the book. When you make a damage roll for a spell you cast on a fiend, you do maximum possible result instead of rolling. Very nice, especially if there's quite a lot of fiends in your campaign. If your players get hands on this, it will be very nice. Okay, so while carrying the book, whenever you cast Magic Circle or the Planar Binding spell targeting a fiend, the spell is cast at 9th level, regardless of what spell slot you use, if any. Additionally, the fiend has disadvantage on the same throw, so once again, not a good day for fiends. The first 10 pages are blank. As an action, you can hold the book, you can target a fiend that you can see that is trapped within a magic circle. The fiend must succeed on a DC 20 charisma saving throw with disadvantage or become trapped within one of the empty pages, which fills with writing detailing the tripped creature's widely known name and that deperatives. No, that word. Once used, can't be used again until next dawn. You can finish a long rest if you understand the trap creature. Blah blah blah. You must make a DC 20 charisma saving throw. On a failure, you are possessed by the creature. Not very nice, which controls you like a puppet. Okay, so you can, in theory, trap them, but the next day, the trap creature can attempt to possess you. So, swings and roundabouts. Probably not ideal if you get possessed by something in the middle of a game, especially that is a very high DC you have to make, a DC 20 charisma saving throw. And then there's some information about if you want to destroy it. Hey, Devotee's Sensor. Interesting. It's a rare, so the flail. So it's a flail that counts as a holy symbol for you. Oh, that's very nice. I can imagine a cleric running around with this then, especially a cleric of the Tempest or something like that. When you hit with an attack, it does an extra 1d8 radiant damage, and as a bonus action, you can speak command words, cause the flail to emanate a thin cloud of incense for 10 feet around you for 1 minute. At the start of the turn, you and any creature in the incense gain 1d4 hit points. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I like that. That's a very interesting merge between a weapon and a sensor, so I like it. So this is another one of the wizard attunement items. This one looks like it is for illusion school of magic. So you get some spells, you get 3 charges, you can replace one of your spells, and then the last thing is you can do an intelligence check to discern the nature of an illusion spell you cast or make saving throw. You can use your reaction and expend 1 charge to impose disadvantage on your roll. So basically your illusions are a little bit better. Okay, so another tattoo. So you get the normal attunement part. Well, the tattoo is on your skin. Your unarmed strikes are considered magical for the purposes of overcoming immunity and resistance, and you gain +1 to bonus to attack rolls and damage rolls. Very nice for a monk. As a bonus action, you can empower your tattoo for 1 minute for the duration. Each of your melee attacks with a weapon or an unarmed strike can reach a target up to 15 feet away from you. So you get some inky tendrils that goes towards the target. In addition, your melee attacks deal additional 1d6 force damage on hit. Once used, this bonus action can't be used until the next dawn. Okay, so you can make your punches ranged. Interesting. Sounds pretty good to me. So, Elemental Essence Shard, where as an action you can attach the shard to a tiny object. Okay, so this is similar to the other one that we saw. Roll a d4 and consult the Elemental Shard to determine the shard's essence and property. When you use a meta magic option on a spell while you're holding or wearing the shard, you can use that property. So I quite like stuff like this that give you a few options within the spell. So this one, if you get air, you can fly. If you get earth, you get resistance. If you get fire, you do additional damage. If you do water, then does additional damage and is pushed. Nice, I like it. So Far Realm Shard. So as an action, you can attach. Okay, so it's same thing. So enhancing the sorcerer when you use a metamagic option on a spell while you're holding slimy tentacles with 30 feet of you. The creature must succeed a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC and take psychic damage and become frightened. Okay, so that's Farwell, Feywild, and Shadowfell shards, just so you have a visual representation of what they look like. So the Firewall Shard, similar thing. When you use the Magic option, you can roll on the Wild Magic table. That's interesting because a lot of people don't like that table. If the result is a spell, it's too wild to be affected by your Magic, and if it normally requires a concentration, it doesn't require concentration. If you don't have the Wild Magic Sorceress option, once this property is used to roll on the table, it can't be used again for the next storm. Interesting. Okay, so this is another one. So this is for the evocation skill. So 3 charges, you can change the spell at any point of a charge, and you can make your evocations do more damage. Okay, so on to G. So another tattoo, normal tattoo attunement. Tattoo has 3 charges and regains at dawn. As a bonus action, you can spend one of the charges to become incorporeal until the end of your next turn. That's quite nice. For the duration, you gain the following benefits. You get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. You can't be grappled or restrained, and you can move through solid objects as if they were difficult terrain, but you can't end your turn in them or you take damage. Interesting. That's quite nice. Nice little addition. So you can go incorporeal and go through walls and whatnot. So the Guardian emblem is uncommon, and by a cleric or paladin again, you get 3 charges. So you can put this on a suit of armor or a shield. You get 3 charges. When a creature suffers a critical hit, you can use your reaction to make it a normal hit. So that's what the Cleric of Death, Cleric of the Grave, I think it is, gets this ability. So they've just put that into an item. Okay, so we got another wizard attunement item, so it gives some spells they can swap out for enchantment spells, and then you can use 1 charge to impose disadvantage on the first saving throw. Now a tattoo. Okay, so while this tattoo is on your skin, you can write with your fingertips as if they were the ink of a pen, with ink that never runs out. As an action, you can touch a piece of paper up to 1 page in length and speak a creature's name. The writing becomes invisible to everyone other than that one creature. Very nice for roleplay situations in this one. I've got a few players that would enjoy something like this rather than something combat orientated, so a very nice addition by them. Okay, so this is the Necromancer version of the wizard ability by the looks of it. So the additional thing they get is you can take a deathly appearance and undead creatures are indifferent to you unless you have damaged them. You also appear undead to all outward inspections, and to spells you determine the target status. The effect ends if you deal damage or force a creature to make saving throw. I'm really enjoying how specific these items are. So rather than just items for anyone, they've made items which are very specific to what character should have this. So like a necromancer wizard or a wild mage sorcerer. I quite like that. It makes the character feel a little bit more special for the choices that they've made throughout the campaign. Another tattoo here, so you get resistance to necrotic damage, and if you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you drop to 1 instead. So always a nice little Hail Mary. Obviously a few classes and stuff get that ability already, but you can get it for a tattoo now. Okay, so we've got another artifact here, a Taroka of Souls. So let's have a look what you get here. So you get some of the following spells, all of which are pretty handy spells, nothing game breaking there. While you're holding the deck, you automatically succeed concentration saving throws to maintain concentration on divination spells. That's interesting. So you can do your divination spells in combat without having to worry about concentration. Twist of Fate, as an action, you can draw a card from the deck and twist the fortune of another creature you can see within 15 feet. Choose one of the following effects. Will, the creature has advantage on the roll for the next hour. Woe, it has disadvantage for the next hour. Can be used in this way twice. You gain all charges at dawn. pretty nice, especially if you're playing a divination wizard. This is a nice little buff to your party. Whenever you use the Twist of Fate property, there's a chance that one of the souls trapped in the deck. Oh, there's one trapped in the deck escapes. Roll a d100 and consult the soul of the Taroka table. If you roll one of the high cards, the soul associated with it escapes. You can find the statistics in the monster menu. So let's see what is the worst that can escape. So let's see this. So this is only 1 to 14 here. Let me read this again. Whenever you use it, there's a chance that one of the souls trapped in the deck escapes. Roll D and if you roll one of the higher cards, the soul associated with it escapes. You can find its statistics in the monster manual. If you roll a soul that has already escaped, roll again. I'm a bit confused here because there's a load of blanks. Are they for you to add your own souls? I feel like I'm missing something here. Let's see. Go 7 days without using the attunement. Ends. Oh, okay. So you have to use a Twist of Fate property in 7 days or it ends. Okay, so why? Well, I must have missed something here. I can't see anything about what happens. Comprising of 14 cards of the high deck. Oh, okay, so they are the high deck. That's why. Okay, so nothing happens if you roll that. When it was saying high, I thought it meant so high cards. I thought it meant high in number of value, but it actually means these are the high cards. So these are like the picture cards, and if you roll less, then nothing happens. Nice. Okay, on to the next one. So this looks like a bard item. So you can cast mending as an action. So that's nice if you don't have it. You can also play the lie as a reaction when the object or structure takes damage, causing it to be immune to that damage. Okay, so it helps structures. In addition, you can play the lie as an action to cast those spells. Not too bad, pretty nice. Got another tattoo here. So fluid ink, as a bonus action, you can shape the tattoo into any color or pattern and move it to any area of your skin, whatever form it takes. It is always obviously a tattoo. It can range in size from no smaller than a copper piece to an intricate work of art that covers your skin. Very nice if you want to make yourself look good. And you can also do disguise self. Okay, pretty cool for people that like the roleplay element of Dungeons and Dragons more than the combat element. We've got another artifact here, and this looks pretty cool. Look at this guy. So we have, let's see, dangerous attunement. So 2 creatures can be attuned to this at a time. If a third creature tries to attune it, nothing happens. Up and back, which is easily opened. Well, there are no creatures attuned to the artifact. Attuning to the artifact requires 2 hours, which can be undertaken as part of a long rest, during which time you must be inside the savant, interacting with its controls. While crew members are tuning themselves, any creature or structure outside and within 50 feet of the savant has a 25% chance of accidentally targeted by one of the destructive fist attacks once during the attunement. That's interesting. So while you're tuning to it, you have to make sure you are definitely on your own. Thank you, Carl. Elephant in the room now, because I accidentally said elephant instead of something. Can't even remember what word it was now. Okay, so controlling the savant. While any creature tunes is to do a DC 25 dexterity check or using thieves' tools to get into the hatch. If there's someone in there, or a knock spell. Creature can enter or exit through the hatch by spending 10 feet of movement. Those inside have total cover. While you're inside, you can command it with a control. During your turn, You can command it in the following ways: open or close the hatch, no action required; move the servant up to its speed, no action required. As an action, you can command the servant to take one of the actions in its stat block, or some other action. When a creature provokes an opportunity to attack, you can use your reaction to command it to use the destructive fist attack. Upon his death, the soul of the mighty lord is drawn into the artifact and becomes its animating force. The servant has been known to attack or move of its own accord, particularly if doing so will cause destruction. Okay, so if it loses half of its hit points, each creature tuned to it must succeed a DC 20 wisdom save or be charmed for 24 hours. While charmed, the creature goes on a destructive spree, sink and destroy structures and attack any attuned creatures within sight. Okay, so you can lose control with this thing as well, which is pretty nasty. Self-destruct by inputting a specific series of lever pulls and button presses. The servant's 2 crew members can cause it to explode. The self-destruct code is not revealed to crew members when they attune to it. If the code is discovered, the DM determines how. It requires 2 attuned crew members to be inside the servant and spend that action on 3 consecutive rounds to perform it. Let's see what it does then. So every creature in a 100-foot radius sphere centered on the servant must make a DC 25 saving throw, so pretty nasty. And if they fail, they take 25 d6 force damage and 25 d6 lightning damage and 25 d6 thunder damage. So that is a total of 75 d6. On a successful save, though, you get half as much. Don't worry, guys. Instead of 75, you're taking whatever half of that is. So this does not destroy it permanently, rather just for 2d6 days. Its parts drop from the sky in random places within 1,000 miles of the explosion. If brought within 5 feet of another piece, the pieces reconnect. So you can do that multiple times. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Let's see what it can do then. So it's got a lot of hit points, a very high armor class. Let's see how much damage it does. Oh, and it regenerates just in case it was hard enough to kill. Plus 17 to attack and does on average 36 damage. That is a lot. And it has a crushing leap that does on average 26 damage. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. A little bit of super armor for the armored people in your party. Pretty nice though. Okay, so this moon sickle is for a druid or a ranger. You get +1, +2, or +3 to your saving throw DCs and spell attack rolls. In addition, you can use the sickle as a spell casting focus. When you cast a spell that restores hit points, you can roll a d4 and add that number to the amount of hit points restored. So a nice little addition for healers there. Nature's Mantle. So I think this has been in another book somewhere, I think. So it can shift its colour and texture to blend into the terrain around you. You can use it as a spell casting focus for your druid or ranger spells. While you are in an area that's slightly obscured, you can hide as a bonus action. Okay, so we've got an outer essence shard now. So these, we had a look at some other essence shard earlier on. So this one, you can roll d4, and so this is when you use your meta magic. You can roll a d4 and consult the chart. And you can either end one of the following conditions. You can choose one creature who's taken damage from the spell and give it disadvantage. You can choose one creature that you can see within 30 feet of you to gain temporary hit points, or you can choose one creature to take more necrotic damage. So yeah, pretty good again, I would say. Plain Brawler's Codex, so you get the following spells, you get 3 charges, you can change out any conjuration school of magic spell, and if you use a conjuration spell that summons or creates one creature, you can spend 1 chance to grant that creature advantage on attack rolls for 1 minute, so helping summoners again. So quite a few additions to summoners out there. Okay, so you can get a prosthetic limb here as well. So if you've lost a limb, you can attach a prosthetic one, and it functions identically to the part it replaces. You can detach or reattach it as an action, and it can't be moved against your will. It detaches if you die. Makes sense that there's magical stuff like that in a fantasy world like this. So a nice addition. Protective verses, so it's similar to some of the other wizard books we've had. So you get a load of spells, it functions as a spell book. You get some charges, you can replace a spell with an abjuration spell. And the additional thing is that you can expend 1 charge to grant a creature you see within 30 feet of you 2d10 temporary hit points. So help him assist people again. Okay, so we're on the final stretch now, R to Z. So we've got a rare item here, so you get +2 bonus to saving throws for your bard spells. As an action, you can use the concertina to cast Otto's Irresistible Dance, which is a very nice spell, and it can't be used to next turn. So a nice little addition to bard there. Rhythm Maker's Drum, so you get various versions, +1, +2, or +3. You can use it to so you can use the drum, and it adds that to the spell attack rolls and DCs. As an action, you can play the drum to regain 1 of your bardic inspiration feature. The property can't be used to next dawn. I have played with quite a few bards, and I don't think they very often lose all of their bardic inspirations. It might be because they're quite conservative with it, and maybe having an item like this will make them be a little less sparing with it, but yeah, it is what it is. I think the +1, +2, or +2 or +3 is better. Okay, so Shadowfell brand tattoo. It's got the same attunement, but with this one, you gain a dark vision for 60 feet and advantage on dexterity saving throws. Most class, or a lot of the classes, get dark vision, so that's not going to add to them. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to become insubstantial for a moment, halving the damage you take. Then the reaction can't be used till the next sun. Okay, so you can take a little bit less damage with that one, so that's not too bad. And then this is the Shadowfell shard, which I think is the last of the shards that we saw a bit earlier. So when you use a meta magic option, you can momentarily curse 1 creature targeted by the spell, choose 1 ability score, and until the end of your next turn, the creature has disadvantage. So very similar to a hex spell. Right, and then we get, this is the final tattoo of them all. So this one doesn't involve attunement as well. So this magic tattoo contains a single spell of up to 5th level. So it's like a ring of spell storing. Go away, Pinterest. To use the tattoo, you must hold the needle against your skin. Turns to ink and becomes a tattoo, which appears once the tattoo is there. You can cast a spell requiring no material components. The tattoo glows faintly while you cast the spell and for the spell's duration. The level of the spell in the tattoo determines the spell's saving throw, DC, attack bonus, spellcasting ability fire, and the tattoo's rarity. Okay, so you can basically put a spell in it, which you can then use with these bits down here. Okay, so the last item in the list is an artifact, and its art is a tooth going through the chest of a dragon. What is this going to be? Okay, so while holding the pouch, so this is a pouch of teeth, you can use an action to draw 1 tooth. Roll on the teeth on the teeth table to determine which tooth you draw. And you can either sew the tooth or implant it. That's pretty disgusting. If you don't sew or implant the tooth, roll a die at the end of your turn. On an even number, the tooth vanishes, and creatures appear as if you sewed the teeth, but they are hostile to you and your allies. On an odd number, the teeth replaces 1 of your teeth and is implanted it, potentially replacing another implanted teeth. So, okay, this is a weird item. So it's a bag of teeth that you can put into your own mouth. Hi Rich, how you doing? It is going well. We are just wrapping up the magic items now. Go away, Avast. I've had so many pop-ups come up. Yeah, we're just finishing up the magic items now. They've been pretty good. There's been a lot of very specific attunement-wise magic items. So, for example, like a necromancer, a wizard can attune to this item. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with it so far. Right, so sowing the teeth. To sow the teeth, you can place it in the ground in an unoccupied space within your reach. To throw it, 10 foot, blah blah. Teeth burrows into the ground and vanishes, leaving no hole behind. The creature noted in the creature's summoned column. Okay, so that's how you summon a column. Implant in the teeth. Once the tooth is implanted, you gain the effect noted in the implanted effect column. You can have a maximum number of the teeth implanted at one time, 1 plus your constitution modifier. Minimum of 2 teeth. Okay, so you can implant multiple teeth. Interesting concept. Recovering your teeth, the pouch, blah blah. Right, I want to look at this. Okay, so creature summon 9 cats. If you roll 1, all the way up to. Let's have a look up here. Oh wow. Okay, so it gets pretty mental. So you can. So you could summon an adult red Draco Lich, a Pit Fiend, an ancient blue dragon, or a Tarask. And it ignores you and your commands. Interesting. Okay, and some of the implanted effects. Okay, so you can do Revivify here. Nice. I would look at the one that's associated with a Tarask. You deal damage to structures. Oh, okay, it makes sense. Well, that is pretty mental item to finish off. That is, so let's go back to the chapters again. That is pretty mad. I don't think I'll be putting that in my game anytime soon. Maybe I will, though. Who knows, eh? Right, so next up, I'm going to look through the Dungeon Master's tools. I don't think we're going to get through the character options in this stream, so we're going to do the Dungeon Master's tools and then call it and end there. We'll see how long these areas are, and then I'm going to do the character options another time, maybe tomorrow. What day is it? Wednesday. Yeah, I could do it tomorrow. So let's have a look at these tools. So I'm not going to actually read through these. I was saying earlier in the stream, just in case you weren't here, that I think it is very nice that they have added a section for Session 0, because it's something that everyone should be doing. And if you're experienced in Dungeons and Dragons, you're probably already doing it. But there's been nothing in any of the books so far that really explain what Session 0 is, why you should be doing it, how you should do it. So this is really nice for new players to just have explained what Session 0 is, how to do it. But we're not going to go through everything here. I'm just going to quickly scroll through. So there's an area here of how to run a game for 1 player, which is quite a nice addition as well, just in case you don't know how to do it. And then, yeah, there's quite a lot of information here, actually. I was half expecting this to just be like a couple of paragraphs explaining the basics, but it actually looks like there's quite a lot here, including explanation about social contract, as they call it, hard and soft limits. So it looks like they've gone into quite a lot of detail, which is nice. And then they're talking about game customization and house rules. Cool. Good job, Wizards of the Coast, for putting that in. Sidekicks, however, I do want to look at in a bit more detail. So let's do that. So creating a sidekick. Could be any type of creature that has a stat block in a monster manual, but the challenge rating must be half or lower. And gain it. Okay, so this sort of links in with creating a game for 1 player as well. Okay, so the starting level of a sidekick is the same as the average level of the group. Leveling a psychic. Whenever a group's average level goes up, the psychic gains a level. Hit points, whenever the gains a level, it gains a hit dice and improves its hit points. Efficiency goes up. Yeah. Ability score improves. Okay, cool. So let's have a look here then. So an expert looks like it gets a, well, yeah, all the rogue stuff. Okay. Oh, okay. So I didn't expect it to have this much detail in it. I thought it was literally just going to be like, here's a stat block. This is some really basics. Um, this is some really basic ways of upping the level of a creature, rather than actually like it's given them helpful. These are obviously just the rogue abilities, coordinated strike, evasion, inspiring. They get quite a lot here. I'm impressed actually. I'm quite impressed. Yeah, Rich. It looks like these are perfect for smaller games. I've always been a little bit wary of running one-on-one games because, or not wary. I feel like there are better games than Dungeons and Dragons for one-on-one games a lot of the time. So generally, I'll steer clear and I'll do some other role-playing games which are geared towards one-on-one. But this is quite a nice addition, definitely. And there's a bullywug wizard here with a little frog on its shoulder, which is quite funny. So it looks like it just gives some basic spells. Yeah, some of the wizard's abilities. Cool. And then warrior, I'm guessing that's just going to be fighting stuff. A furbo chef fighter. Very nice. A wolf. Nice. Okay, so it gets a martial attack. I really like these. I think that's a really nice addition. I could see myself using this as a, yeah. So sometimes when you have an NPC that travels with the party for like one journey or a couple of journeys, you could just create it using this and then just give it to the players and say, like, in combat, do what you think is best. Yeah, that's a good point, Rich, as well. Rich saying that it's a good situation that a player drops out last minute as well. You could just quickly throw one of these in. They're very simple. You can give it to one of your players that may be a bit more experienced or run it yourself. Yeah, I like them. Very nice. Okay, so then there's a section about parlaying with monsters. So once again, I think it's nice they've included this because newer players or newer dungeon masters might not realize that this is an option, and they might just always go for the fighting option. So it's nice that they've put this in, and they've given like quite a bit of detail here about researching monsters and monsters' desires and stuff like that. So yeah, good for inspiration for you as a DM if you're looking to put together some sort of quest, or the players throw a curveball in you and you go and do a little bit of research between sessions and stuff like that. Environmental hazards, there were some of these in the Icewind Dale book. So let's see how much detail they put in here. Okay, so there's some supernatural ones here. So uh there's quite a lot of different variations here. Is that going to be the same? Oh, wow, that is the same for all of them. So I've said this in videos before that I generally don't do much in terms of getting lost and exploration and stuff like that. I very much run my games that like you're at A and you say you want to be at B, so you just travel to B. But if it's uh, a couple of days away, for example, then between A and B there's A.1, A.2, A.3, and you just sort of jump between the points where there's actually interesting story elements. But reading or just skimming through this, obviously I haven't read it properly. It looks like they're adding quite a lot of random stuff which would add interest to the campaign, because I have definitely played in games where the travel from A to B has been quite dull, and the random encounters just feel pointless and just thrown in. Whereas some of these, it looks like it's actually adding a story element rather than just you get attacked by 3 harpies, which I never really like. So yeah, I'll definitely have a good look through these because some of these are, yeah, some of these are really interesting ones that just add, they could add even more to the story, especially if you're finding yourself a bit struggling with motivation or inspiration for certain things. You could come here and be like, okay, well, they're going to be walking through a haunted region, so let's see what haunted effects there are here. Or they're going to go through a region which has a lot of psychic stuff going on, so let's see what psychic stuff they could do here. So yeah, I quite like that. They've even got like a mirror zone here, which is something that hasn't really been shown before in D&D books. Really cool. Really cool, the supernatural ones. Let's have a look at what magical ones there are. So there's an Eldritch Storm. These are so cool as well. The Wizards of the Coast have really improved their art, I think. They just, yeah, they're always so good in the books. So there's Enchanted Springs here. Some magic mushrooms. Let's have a look at the natural ones now. I assume they're going to be very similar to the Icewind Dale, but yeah, okay. Oh, and they've got some spell equivalent ones here. So this is something I've done in the past, is use a spell essentially to mimic a natural disaster happening. And they've just said it here. So yeah, because there's some obvious ones like tsunami, meteor swarm, but yeah, earthquake. But they've given you some other options as well. Oh, I like that. So this section was very good. The sidekicks I'm very impressed with. They're really cool. The expert, spellcaster, and warrior. Definitely gonna be using them in my game. And the environmental hazards I'm probably going to use more for inspiration for story ideas while travel's happening and stuff like that. I think some of them are really cool. Just being able to go to, right, they're going to be going through an area which has been known to be haunted, so let's go here. I don't really do roll tables very much for random encounters. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that. But getting some inspiration from these is definitely going to help. Yeah, Rich saying that when you compare this to Xanathar's, this book's feels like there's a lot more interesting content rather than filler content, and I definitely agree from what I've seen so far. So far, because just in case you've only just turned up, we've looked through the group patrons, all of the magical parts of the spells and the items, and we've just done the Dungeon Master tools, and now we're going to have a look at the puzzles, and I am definitely impressed with what I've seen so far. I am a big advocate of choices, which we haven't even got into the character options yet, but I always think that offering your players more choices is better than less because they can choose to ignore it. So, if, for example, the players just want to play the player handbook stuff, then they can choose to do that and they don't have to read about the Rune Knight or about the Way of Mercy or anything like that. They can just do what they want to do. So I'm always about giving more options. Obviously, it depends on your world and stuff like that as well. The rogue soul knife might not fit in if you don't do much with psychic stuff in your world, so that's fine. But I always try to give my players as many options as they like, and then it's up to them if they want to read them and have a look through. And it looks like there's a hell of a lot, so we're definitely going to have to do this in a different stream, all of the character options, because yeah, there's a lot there. So let's have a look at the puzzles now. Okay, so they got a bit of section about why to use puzzles, puzzle elements, the difficulty, feature solution, hint checks, customizing, hints, running the puzzle. I want to see some of the. So there's quite a lot here. Looking along the left here, there's actually a fair amount of puzzles that they've added, and it looks like. Oh, well, let's have a look. Yeah, okay. So they've got puzzle features, solution, hint check, and then customizing the puzzle section for each of them, which are 4 good sections to have because the puzzle features are just going to help you set up the puzzle solution. I, in the past, have made puzzles where I haven't had a solution in my head, and they've worked quite well because the players will come up with something. Um, they come up with something that's quite creative that I probably would have never thought about, but I'm sat in my room making it. That I then on the spot decide that I'm going to use as the solution. Whereas these have significant solutions, but I like it. And then they give you some hints that you can throw your players' way and a way to customize it. I'm just gonna scroll through then. Oh, and that they got handouts as well. Well, not handouts, but illustrations to help you. Very nice. Okay, so let's. I want to see. So all of these have been difficulty easy so far. I want to see how much detail some of the harder ones go into. Each of them come with art as well, which is really nice. Yeah, it's some of the art in the monster section of Icewind Dale was just so good. Yeah, even this, like you could just use this as an NPC for something else. Medium, yeah, some more diagrams here. I haven't seen a hard one yet. There's hard. Medium. Medium. Hard. Okay, so let's see how much. It's more that how much information they give you for a hard challenge. Okay, so there's an engraving. Oh, so not much. It looks like actually it's quite a simple explanation. It's just hard to come to the conclusion. Okay. Some of these as well have just looked like they're stuff that you could actually use with props. I do not have a Discord set up yet, which has just asked. It is actually something that I am starting to put together, I've decided. I think I'm getting to that point now where people actually know me, and I'm trying to find a place where I can put all of my content in regards to maps and stuff like that, because I make maps for my games and then they just sort of sit in a folder on my computer and aren't used again. And I thought I would like to just give them out, like not getting money or anything like that, just give them out for other people to use. And I'm thinking that a Discord might be a good way to do that. I could just have a channel which is sharing maps and stuff like that. So I haven't yet, but do stay tuned. There will be a Discord coming soon. I've got quite a few big 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 things on the horizon, let's say. I don't know if you've seen I'm hosting a D&D quiz as well, so come along to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Right. 4 elements 1. Yeah, what I was saying is it looks like some of these, like this one here, you could set up props. So you could actually give them a plate with some coins that you've either, yeah, just coins, I guess. They don't have to be numbered, I don't think, for that one. The correct and complete pattern. I'm going to have a look through these properly at some point. Generally, how I've done puzzles, I don't usually think up puzzles myself. I just find them online and use them. Oh, here are all the handouts. That's cool as well that they give you the handouts. Very nice. I like it. So stuff like this, I would probably actually cut this up and hand it to them. When you can play face to face, obviously at the moment it's all online, so you'd have to sort something else out. But yeah, I like this because yeah, as I was saying, I usually will just find a puzzle and do the puzzle rather than think of it myself, and be just quite open with the solution. Stuff like this, just yeah, it looks cool. I'm really impressed by this book. This uh might win as my favorite book released yet, especially looking at some of these. There's a barbarian path of wild magic. I am excited. If you haven't got this book and you now want to get it, down in the description there is an affiliate link, which means that if you buy it through there. I get a little bit of Amazon's money, which is nice. Helps to support me with what I'm doing with this channel. So if you want to go and use that, that'd be much appreciated. I think I'm going to call it there, and then I'm going to do the character options another day. Maybe tomorrow. Can't can't remember what I've got tomorrow, to be honest. I'm also going to be cutting each of these sections up and putting them out as videos on my channel. So if you missed any of these sections, make sure to subscribe to the channel and you can see those sections earlier. Really impressed with this. What do you all think about this book so far then, looking at what you've seen yourself, plus what we've gone through on this stream? I think the magical items, although there's nothing that's like crazy, I think the additions to the items which are very specific to the classes and subclasses is nice. It helps to, if you've made a decision in your character, you want to be shown that you've made the right decision by the DM helping you along the way and adding aspects into it. So I like that. So yeah, what do you all think? Are you gonna buy it? Have you already got it? Are you going to be using this in your game? Yeah, it's definitely going to take more than a day to digest it all. There's a lot. I think a lot of this I'm going to actually. You know what I'm going to do? Let's just open the barbarian one. I want to see how it's laid out. Okay, so these are full subclasses. Yeah, that's a lot of content. What I might do then, I'm thinking what the best way to share this with you is, because I was thinking of doing it all on a live stream so that I can obviously chat with you along the way, but I'm wondering if it's actually going to be better for me to just make a video on each of the classes on each of the new class options. And then that way I can put them on my channel and people can come and go and see the classes that they want to see. For example, if you want to see what new druid options there are, you could just pop over to the druid video rather than come into a live stream and sitting through a lot of classes that you don't care about. And then if you do care about all the classes, you can just go through all the videos, which is happy days. I think that might be how I do it, but I'm going to have a think when we're off stream. Oh, there's some additional feats there. I completely missed that. Let's see how many of them there are. Oh, there's a lot of them as well. They have added so much content in this. There's been a lot of unearthed arcana going out with different options and stuff like that, and I assumed it was going to turn up in different books, but it looks like a lot of it's just been chucked into this book, which I'm very happy with. I don't know if Carl's still here, but he was listening earlier, and they've now got a feat which is called Chef that I know he would like. He literally made a paladin once that his backstory was that he was a chef. So there you go. There's literally a feat for you, and yeah, it looks like you get a bit more health when you rest. In fact, let's have a look through these feats. I don't think they're overly long. So yeah, let's have a look through these feats, and then I think I'm gonna do all of the class options in in separate videos, separate individual videos. So make sure to subscribe to see them rather than go through them on stream, because there, as Rich said, there's a hell of a lot of content there. Right. So Artificer Initiate, you get one cantrip of your choice from the Artificer list, and you learn a first level spell. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability. You can cast this feat's first level spell without a spell slot, and you must finish a long rest before you cast it again. Very nice. You gain proficiency with one type of artisan's tool, and you can use that tool as your spell casting. Okay, so this is if you want a little taster of Artificer in your character, you can dip into that one. Some quite nice abilities there as well. So the chef, you get some more constitutional wisdom, you get proficiency with cooked utensils. As part of a short rest, you can make a meal that is going to give people better hit point regaining. And with 1 hour of work, or when you finish a long rest, you can cook a number of treats equal to your proficiency bonus. These special treats last 8 hours, and you can use a bonus action to eat one and gain temporary hit points. Very nice. So Rich just let me know that by having the video feed in the bottom left, it clashes with the live chat when it's full screen. Ah, I did not know that. I will definitely chuck that on the right hand side next time. Thank you for letting me know, Rich. I will do that in the next stream. Okay, so the Crusher. So you are practiced at crushing your enemies. You get strengthened constitution once per turn. When you hit an attack, you deal bludgeoning damage. You can move hit 5 foot to an unoccupied space. So it's sort of like the shove action. When you score a critical hit that deals bludgeoning damage to a creature, attack rolls against that creature are made with advantage until the start of your turn. Okay, quite nice. So some people quite enjoy taking the grappler and the charger feat. So this is sort of in the same vein. Eldritch Adept. So you have to be a spellcaster or a pact magic or have the pact magic feature. So you learn one Eldritch Invocation option from your choice from the Warlock class. That's pretty interesting that they've opened that up to other classes being able to have now. So you only... Oh, okay, so no, you have to be a Warlock who meets the prerequisite. When you gain a level, you replace the invocation. Okay, so if... so only if you're a... Okay, so if the invocation has a prerequisite, you have to be a Warlock that meets that prerequisite. That makes sense. Oh, clicked on the art. Didn't mean to see that, but that is nice art. Fate Touched, you get some intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, and you learn Misty Step. Looks like that's it for that one, but Misty Step is always a nice spell to have, so that's nice. Fighting Initiate, you have to have proficiency with a martial weapon. You can learn a fighting style. Okay, that's quite nice as well, opening that up to other classes that don't usually get it. Whenever you reach a level that grants the ability improvement, you can replace it with a feat. Oh, okay, so no, you can replace this feat's fighting style with another one. Okay, so you can just replace it. Fighting styles are nice, but I feel like there needs to be more of them. There's not that many, and they're all quite basic. It'd be nice if they could introduce some more fighting styles, and then that could be quite a nice feat. Gunner. So this is a feat for firearms, which is interesting. So you can ignore the loading property, and you don't get disadvantage if they're within 5 feet of you, and you get more dexterity. Nice if you have guns in your game. It's basically the boss bowmaster, I believe, but with guns instead. Meta Magic Adept, so you have to be spellcasting or pack magic. You get 2 meta magic options from the sorcerer class. You can only use one option on a spell when you cast it unless the option says otherwise. Whenever you reach a level that grants the ability score improvement, you can replace it. You gain 2 sorcery points to spend on meta magic. You regain them on a long rest. Okay, so a nice little 2 points isn't much, so you're not going to be doing too much of that. Maybe I think you really do one per long rest, but it's a nice option, especially if you wanted to be a wizard that's a little bit stealthy or something like that. You can take that meta magic option. Okay, so Piercer. You get some more strength for dexterity once per turn. When you hit a creature with an attack, it deals piercing damage. You can re-roll on attack or attacks damage dice, sorry, and use the new roll. If you score a critical hit, you do 1 additional damage dice. Okay, so there was one about bludgeoning earlier. So yeah, I was about to say, so I'm guessing there's a slashing one later, and there is right there. So they're just double downing on the damage types. Poisoner. So when you do a damage roll that deals poison damage, it ignores resistance. You can apply poison to a weapon or piece of ammunition as a bonus action instead of an action. You gain proficiency with the poisoner's kit with 1 hour of work at a poisoner's kit and 50 gold worth of materials, you can create a number of doses of potent poison equal to your efficiency bonus. Once applied to the weapon, the poison retains its potency for 1 minute until hit with the weapon or ammunition. When a creature takes damage, the coated, it must succeed a DC 14 Constitution saving throw or take 2d8 poison damage. Okay, that's quite nice. Adding in the ability to add poison to your weapons. Cemently, I've set up stuff so that players can do that in the past, but having it as a feat here is quite nice. Shadow Touch. So you get Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma, and you learn the Invisibility spell. You can cast these spells as a spell slot to the level. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so you basically get invisibility and one first level spell of your choice, and you can expend them without expending a spell slot. Cool. Away, Amazon. Okay, so skill expert. So you get an ability score improvement by 1 of any that you choose. You gain proficiency in one skill. Choose one skill in which you have proficiency. You gain expertise with that skill, which means your proficiency bonus is doubled. Okay, so you just get expertise. Slasher, I'm guessing, is the same, but for slashing. So you can reduce the speed of the target by 10 feet when you hit it with slashing. When you score a critical hit, you grievously wounded. Until the start of next turn, the target has disadvantage on all attack rolls. Telekinetic. So you learn Mage Hand. You can cast it without verbal or somatic bonus. Very nice. Similar to the Arcane Trickster Rogue. You can make the hand invisible. As a bonus action, you can try to telekinetically shove one creature you can see within 30 feet. The target must succeed a strength saving throw, which is DC 8 plus proficiency plus ability modifier, or be moved 5 foot in any direction. Okay, cool. So you can use Mage Hand to shove, basically. That's pretty nice. And then the last one is telepathic. So you get increase in intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. You speak telepathically to creatures, and you can cast detect thought without spell components or spell slots. And then you have to do it long rest. Cool. Okay, so that was all of the feats. Some pretty nice additions there. As I said before, I always like adding the ability for players to have more options. Some more feats is good. There was none there that blew me away in terms of power. I remember in Xanathar's, I think it was, there was that one feat that gave you X-ray vision, essentially, that loads of people went crazy about. There's nothing, doesn't seem like any of the feats that powerful. They're just nice additions. Some of them probably quite underpowered, in fact, but I think that's fine. If a player wants to pick it, then they can. So more options is good. Okay, so we have gone through feats, group patrons, magic items, spells, magical tattoos, and all of the Dungeon Master's tools, all of the puzzles. So we are gonna call it there. So let me just put it back to my face. Thank you everyone who has come along and interacted with this. If you make sure to subscribe, I'm going to be going through all of the character options class by class individually in their own videos. I'm not going to do that as a live stream because it looks like there's quite a lot of content now. I didn't realize how much there was going to be. So I'm just slowly going to go through each of the classes. So make sure to subscribe. They will be starting from tomorrow. So subscribe to see them. I am hosting a Dungeons and Dragons quiz as well. This is a very important one to listen to because it is going to be a lot of fun. On the 12th of December, I'm going to be hosting a Dungeons and Dragons quiz. There will be 5 rounds. There's going to be 10 questions each round, so a total of 50 questions. It's going to last around about 2 hours. There are going to be prizes for first, second, and third place as well. It's going to be a lot of fun, I assure you. So if you are a big Dungeons and Dragons fan, come along. There's going to be questions about all editions as well, or not every single edition probably, but multiple editions. It's not all going to be about 5th edition, but there is going to be one round about 5th edition, 2 come along, you literally just have to turn up on the YouTube page on the day. It is interactive, so you'll need a phone or something connected to the internet to play along. But there is a Facebook group, a Facebook event even, and there is a YouTube stream that has already been set up. Let me find the link to the Facebook event in case you want to go through there and say that you're attending. Bear with me and I'll chuck that over in the chat. Here we go. So join the quiz. There you go. So that's the Facebook event. So you can go through there, click attending so that you get a reminder when you're attending. But all you actually have to do is turn up here. If you go over to my Twitter as well, which I'll also chuck in there, I'm going to be updating with what the prizes are and stuff like that along the way. So come across to that. If this stream has made you want to buy Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, then in the description there is an affiliate link to the book through Amazon, which if you buy, I get a small amount of money from Amazon. So I'd appreciate if you could do that because it helps me to grow this channel. Thank you for coming along. I'm going to end it there, but as I said, more Tasha's Cauldron of Everything content will be coming out on the channel, so make sure to subscribe. But until next time, happy gaming.